I don't know, like this is making me think of a Gordon Ramsay point, which is like, let your ingredients
fucking raw.
That's exactly the point. Let the quality of your ingredients speak for themselves. You need.
You know, I straddled this seat
Yeah, it's like
a cowboy, like Riker. I did a Riker maneuver. Yeah.
The Riker maneuver.
This is my bad back.
Is that why you did it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Also, if you watch The West Wing, Martin Sheen puts on his jacket early, weirdly, because he's got like a shoulder issue. He can't put it on the normal way.
I did not know that.
Um,
I didn't know the thing about the Riker though. That's crazy.
The more you know.
Riker. He plays trombone for real.
For real.
For real.
For real.
For me. Yeah. I would love that. I'd be serenaded by Jonathan Frakes.
Play trombone for me.
Play that slower. Not a little salsa. I just put together the Enterprise Lego set and everything, and they had all the minifigs for all the, and Riker had the trombone. Like you build a little trombone from, and that's great.
I think there should be a little Lego like photon torpedo tube with a little Lego Spock in it.
You just fling it. That's out there.
Lego.
Well, that was the Enterprise A though.
Yeah.
So that's not the Enterprise D, which matters most.
Yeah. You just have the older Lego Spock.
And then you build a planet, and you just kind of put him in there, and then he gets reborn. And he kind of starts coming out of the Lego.
Speaking of plots and speculative fiction,
right. We haven't gotten to that part. We're bullshitting first.
Yeah. Well, but hey, that's a good segue though.
Yeah.
We're doing it right now.
Yeah,
we're living the dream.
We are living the dream.
Welcome to Bards and Balladeers, everyone.
And there's a cat.
We are the podcast about story in all its forms. I am Usger. I write historical fiction, nonfiction, fantasy, sci-fi.
I'm Kate. I'm also an author / musician. I write, I enjoy fantasy, I enjoy sci-fi, everything in between.
Yeah, and I'm Rio, and I'm also an author and play video games and pretend to know what I'm doing with my life. So,
join us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. Or, if you see us anywhere else, let us know.
Yeah.
Join us on our Discord. The link's down below for that. All of our web properties are linked down below.
Web properties. I like
web properties.
Properties. Did you get the web property last year? Yes. Quite.
Indeed. Join us on our Discord. Links down below. What's going on? We have our live stream coming up one day soon.
Sometime. I did put a poll out on Discord, which would have been passed. But, we just want to know what time of day people, weekends, at night. Let us know because we'll accommodate. We'll do it. So
check out all our schedules on our links, like see what events we're going to be at. Got a few coming up this spring and summer.
Yeah.
And today we are talking about plots in speculative fiction.
Yes.
So
first,
we should probably define
what is that.
Plot is no, I'm just kidding.
What's a plot? Well, like a section of land.
Yeah, usually 40 acres.
Long block.
One house per 40 acres. But
speculative fiction, and I do know that a lot of you already know what this is. You just haven't heard it phrased in that way. Because speculative fiction really is the overarching, it's the umbrella for all, not all fiction, or is that correct? Is it all fiction? It's
debated because everything in speculative fiction has to be debated all the time. That's what it's for, really. Yeah,
just debate and everything because everyone's angry at each other and they just want to be right.
Yeah, that's what speculative fiction is about being right.
That's the episode. Bye.
The end.
Yeah, we're Bards and Balladeers. Shortest episode ever. Yeah. Lunchtime. It seems to be about basically an unreal setting, like non-real world setting.
Sure.
Even like alternate history or something like that.
Yeah.
I believe actual historical fiction is not technically speculative fiction.
Sure.
That's part of the debate.
Yeah. Because if it really didn't happen, if it's the possibility of if it's a real world possibility, but didn't actually happen, is it speculative? By definition, I feel like it is, but that's just me.
That's the thing is like all historical fiction didn't really happen exactly that way, or it's just history.
Right. That's not fiction,
Right. So again, not to relitigate that debate, but other things it includes would be sci-fi, fantasy, horror, urban fantasy, like paranormal type stuff. What else?
Grimdark, all that stuff.
Yeah. stuff along those lines, like mythology.
Did you say
The fun stuff.
supernatural?
Supernatural,
Paranormal,
that sort of thing.
Paranormal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a lot of the point of having a setting like that, which this is in the definition of speculative fiction, is to speculate on like highlight certain realities or concepts or potential plot points in a different kind of setting, a non-real setting, to sort of get a different perspective on them.
Yeah.
So like a speculative take on things like that.
Right. Again, my like last week's idea of like what a werewolf in New York,
Yeah, which we all know they belong in London and Paris.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Per the movie documentaries.
Yeah. Both movies.
No, it's Werewolf in London.
And Paris. They did
Paris,
a sequel.
I want to say there's a song.
Is there?
Too.
I believe you.
Ooh.
Is there like howling in it?
London.
It's just a bunch of furries. It's like, oh,
It'll be in the final cut. I'll find it for you.
I'll find it. Yeah.
The soundtrack for American Werewolf in London is pretty good.
Is it?
Mm.
Is it 90s? When was that?
80s.
Is it 80s?
Yeah, there's some 80s new wave, and there's also some Credence in there.
Oh,
I see a bad moon rising.
Oh, sure. I mean, perfect.
That song actually just came up on my playlist this last week.
Oh, that's a sign.
But yes, things that do belong in speculative fiction that wouldn't necessarily happen like in historical fiction.
Right.
It's almost just like a tonal difference in a way.
It's sort of like it starts with a setting difference to build the tonal difference, you might say, or I guess that's arguable. Like which comes first?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say chicken or the egg because then you're going to answer it again, like you did before.
It's a legit answer.
I know it is, but that's not the point. Sometimes the answer isn't the point.
Yeah,
it's the question.
It's the thought process. I get it. Okay.
It's rhetorical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you call me?
But yeah, it's funny. Like, think of speculative fiction. Like, have you ever seen the trailer for the Jerry Seinfeld movie?
I love that trailer. I quote it all the time.
So like,
in a world, two girls on the edge of space.
No, in a world.
Yeah,
Jerry.
yeah.
It's not that kind of movie.
Okay.
In a time. No.
No. A time before time. Yeah.
One man.
No. A girl. No.
Yeah.
Two girls. No. On the edge of space.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it's
now more than ever.
Yeah, it's so I gotta put a clip of it.
In an outpost on the edge of space.
There's no space.
A girl.
No.
Two girls.
No.
Now.
No.
More than ever.
Stop it.
A renegade cop.
Because it's perfect.
So pretty much speculative fiction is any movie that might start with one of those.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is why it's totally inappropriate for the Jerry Seinfeld movie.
Right. A cop. No. A rogue renegade cop. I hate you.
You're fired.
Yeah, you're fired. No, get out of the booth. I never saw that movie though. I love the trailer.
I only care about the trailer.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a tangent, but it's a great trailer.
It's a worthy tangent because it does point out, like you said, that like speculative fiction is just, it's different. It's not real life, like mundane plots. And I hate saying like mundane plots too, because like it's almost like modern Monday plots, like first world problem type stories. Like that's, I mean, it could be in speculative fiction. Like you could, I can't think of an example of, a speculative fiction story that does handle just like a slice of life, like situation.
So I have a question. Like then I think the reason why there might be a debate about these, whether or not like anything that's fantasy or fiction is speculative fiction, because things like 50 Shades of Grey or any like slice of life thing and everything, it's speculative. Like this stuff doesn't happen. And like, would these people actually get together? Would the lonely girl who no one likes her and everything get the attention? It's one of those things. Like if you take the vampires and the werewolves out of like Twilight, it's just like it's a weird, it's 50 Shades of Grey. It's a weird romance, right? And it's just
with too many close-ups
and bare chests from the werewolves.
Yeah. And that blue, whatever filter that they use to make it seem like Washington.
Yeah. But I think that like they don't want to be associated with that fantasy if like you're a romance. Like, I feel like it's like, no, this is a romance. This is deeper. This is dramatic. And like, I'm sorry, I'm talking so poorly about it. I'm not really, but I think it's because there is a little bit of separation when you're just trying to write a story about people in just like a real world setting. I think that's where the breakdown kind of comes. But we can argue and say, it's speculative. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
like-
Right.
Yeah, like we're not doing this episode too much to try to have that debate because like that debate
Yeah.
still rages. It's been raging for decades, and we're not going to solve it here in the next 45 minutes. But but yeah,
nor do we
so
want to.
we can speculate on what speculative fiction is.
Yeah.
If we were in a different
Sure.
setting and with magic,
Yeah.
but
Skeptically speculate. Suspicious.
Like the alliteration. you're trying to
Lots,
get,
I'm trying.
you're gonna confuse the hell out of yourself.
Yeah, I
there.
don't know.
Also, earlier you said like you were saying mundane plots, and then you said Monday plots, and I thought those are like nicely equivalent. Really,
They honestly-
Monday is the most mundane day of the week.
Yeah.
Damn
It
it.
really is.
So I guess what plots do you guys see in speculative fiction? Like a lot, like because I think that speculative fiction lends itself to certain kinds of plots more than contemporary fiction, like the hero's journey, for example,
Mhm.
like any others. You just can think of.
what is it? Out of time or out of place? A lot of those things. were-
Out of time,
Out of time. In a place with no time.
which was not a tangent because I did
No.
write it down.
But it's like like out of this world where it's just like all of a sudden a lot of anime does isekais where they're like teleported to another world, you know.
It does what?
Isekai? It's the name for
Yeah, you'll have to define that one.
yeah, sorry.
I'm like, what? I don't even
My
know.
bad.
Japanese term.
Yeah, Japanese term
Yeah.
for like when you're teleported to another world and you're out of place, like, you know, and then all of a sudden like it's
And a important thing is you don't have to die for that to happen, right?
no, but there's
Okay.
a like the joke where it's just like everyone always gets hit by a truck and then magically is in this other line.
Mhm.
So they have
Or the
truck.
plane crashes.
Oh,
Sorry.
Jesus.
But
Well,
yeah,
I'm
the-
talking about Lost. I mean, technically it
yeah,
is.
Chronicles of Narnia. I
Yep.
think technically is an isekai.
Yeah.
But yes, Truck-kun.
Truck-kun
where
is
he
the
was trying to
name
go
of the
to.
like, because there's even one where like the girl and the Truck-kun like get together, not like romantically, but like work together or something. And I don't know. It's Japanese. Like it's always one that's like I got reincarnated as a slime or whatever. Like it's always out of place. There's a really good one from the 90s that I really love called El Hazard.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because it's from the 90s.
yes, and it was good. No, I was kidding.
Oh, you told me about that one.
Yeah, we watched
started
one
watching it.
episode. Yeah. And it's
pretty.
yeah, it is very pretty. It's very much like he gets teleported to almost like an Arabian Nights type of like world, but there's magic and stuff with that. And
Does Yoko Kanno do that one too?
no, that's
okay.
Escafone. I think you might be thinking of.
Escafone.
Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun, dun.
completely forgot about El Hazard. I have to see that again.
Yeah, I'd watch that with you if you ever
Yeah.
want to watch it again.
For me, though, I feel like plots today, surprisingly, I feel like political plots are also very common in speculative fiction. But political plots that usually drive the good versus evil, like
in
pathways.
Wheel of Time
Wheel of
has
Time.
lots of political plots.
Dune.
I'm thinking of like
Like-
West Wing.
Dune definitely
Dune is-
qualifies.
it's huge.
Yeah.
Even Lord of the Rings to a degree.
Yeah, there are absolutely political
Mhm.
plots
Yeah.
in there. Like it's not like in your face. It's
Right.
not overbearing in Lord of the Rings.
Game of Thrones. It's
Yeah.
a huge concept.
I
Which
mean, the whole title Game of Thrones is like,
Yeah.
hey, we talk about politics. you
Right.
know?
Which correct me if I'm wrong, internet. I want to say Game of Thrones was also inspired by the Tudor, like, you know, who's what shits. And
Like the Plantagenets versus the Tudors or
Sure.
whatever.
What?
it's based on it's inspired by real life, basically.
The War of the Roses, I think, is
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know
that sounds right.
It just started like you were making up words. I didn't
No, those are
understand.
both English royal families, the Plantagenets and the
The
Tudors.
tutors.
Yes.
Is that the word where the word tutor comes from?
Yes. Not tutor, but Tudor.
Tutor.
They're spelled different.
Like a Tudor style house. It's like that.
Oh,
that style.
TUDOR.
Like Victorian era style,
Gotcha.
you know.
Yeah.
But-
I'm learning something
Before that,
today.
but yeah.
See, this is why I like this podcast because I learned.
Right, we learn things.
I took 2/4 of British history and I'm going to use it, damn it.
Yeah. But I do think that's something that I see a lot, using like sort of like the political structure as like a parallel for like the good versus evil, if it's not bigger than that. Because there's
Right.
also like the big epic, like we have to save the universe type plots too.
A lot of those go together a lot of the time, I think, because it's like, we have to save the universe and damn it, these political plots are getting in our way of doing that.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
we've got to navigate those first. Like, it's like,
The
that's the
agendas.
obstacle
Yeah. Mhm.
because all these political people aren't taking it seriously. Wow. That doesn't reflect real life at all.
Is that like
Um,
Star Trek too then a lot? Would you put that into kind of like at least earlier track?
Yeah, it's sort of like, like the Federation squabbling with the Romulans or the Klingons while the Borg are slowly getting closer or something.
Yeah.
It's like, well, who's the real enemy?
Right.
Although that's not really obviously how Star Trek goes. It's just, there's a feeling of that sometimes. Especially with the Romulans.
Because it's such a weird, because I never thought about like that political like aspect of it, like where it's just like, it has nothing to do with end of the world. It has everything to do with like, how do people maintain power? How do they work in this world, basically, And
I don't know how much that's specifically like about speculative fiction. I feel that's about epic plots, but that you see more epic plots in speculative fiction. So it's sort of like not 1 degree removed, but 2 degrees. Like it's a result of having more epic plots in speculative fiction.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And so like, to have it be epic, it has to encompass a lot of the setting, and that tends to include multiple societies and factions. And then you feel like, well, if I'm covering multiple societies, how do those societies intersect? And then you get your political plots.
Yes.
Sure. Because everybody's got their wants and needs and their power struggles and some of that. Yeah.
And resources, which is a lot of
that too. Yeah.
Politics.
Like spice.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Dune. Yeah. All the spice stuff. All spice.
All spice. Oh, it's good for everything. I can see the future. I'm baking a pie. I can see the future.
This pie can see the future.
Yeah. So I know when we were discussing this, you were talking about how mundane stories are kind of just like boring and everything, and why like you can take that like normal life and then make it exciting.
Yes.
And like, was it 24?
It was 24. Okay. I had a person in my life who really loved the show 24 and just was obsessed with it. And usually when somebody like doesn't shut up about a show, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Never gonna watch it.
I genuinely wanted to try because it seemed like
it's the opposite take that I would expect. Like someone goes on about it, maybe they'd be like, well, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
No. I know. I'm very much with you on that.
Yeah. We know because of Lost.
But at the same time, like I did want to give it a try because it was a popular show at the time. 24. I mean, it's done and over with now, but like that true like American thriller fiction, I guess is the type of genre that it was. And then the I guess I should explain too the gist of it. I don't know what the right word is. Like the hook is that every episode is an hour of this day.
Of this 24 hour day.
And so there's always this like, I can hear the alarm like ticking. Ding. Yeah.
Ding. Yeah. I'll have to play that.
Yeah.
Because it's very sonata. It's kind of like the ding ding from the
like in
Law and Order.
We go off of sounds and whatnot. I'm an audiophile. But I started watching the show. I'm like, this is boring. Is this it? Like, and now I do realize like I do like a balance of historical fiction. It has to be my favorite type of like genre of fiction, like history. Not genre of history. Era of history. And this was like modern day, American thriller, like socio like terrorism type plots.
Yeah, sort of contemporary, like
contemporary is the word.
Is like a political thriller or just
yes.
Yes. And action, because they had to have that too.
It sounds kind of like a different take on like an NCIS LA.
Yes.
It was kind of like more like Reacher or Jack Ryan. Like I don't think he was like a military operative. But anyways,
I forgot like who he was. Like
Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer.
Bauer,
yeah.
But anywho,
Bauer.
I just found it so incredibly boring, even though it was like this high thriller, high intensity like show.
Well, there's a reason for that, I think. But continue. I have an idea.
But mostly, I mean, you kind of brought it up. It's just that I as a very imaginative person, like I just found this plot to be mundane, even though it was really exciting for some people.
Yeah. No, so my theory is that like since 24 fits the perfect like TV news standard season of 24 episodes. So you can do 1 hour or 45 minutes more so.
It's probably pre-writer strike.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And the problem is that when you have that like necessity for episodes, you have the people writing like episodes or plots and everything just to fill time. and then it gets very either repetitive or it doesn't make sense, and they're just trying to fill time. And like you get shows where like they do well, but there's a point where like you're gonna exhaust yourself with storylines and everything that won't make sense, and you're just trying to make your buck and get out of there at some point.
Yeah, my take, and I've never seen the show.
Yeah,
just sort of take this with a grain of salt. Yes, there were filler episodes a lot during the era of like 20 plus episode seasons.
Yeah.
But a show like that sounds like every filler episode is still going to try to be dramatic.
Yes.
If everything's dramatic, nothing's dramatic.
Yes.
Yep.
You had like Lost had its filler episodes in that era, but they felt like filler episodes. They weren't high stakes.
Yeah.
And in fact, like that's what I wrote down for my like plots and speculative fiction. Which ones we see more? Like Hero's Journey, high stakes, melodrama. You see those plots a lot more. But if everything cover to cover is high stakes and melodrama, then it's just over the top, and you're like, okay, you've made this boring.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like you almost like exhaust your reader to a point where like there's either just too much, or they like maybe get desensitized to like what the stakes genuinely are.
It's like eating sugar all day.
Yeah.
You know, like I need an egg sandwich right now.
Right. Just need some savory.
Do you think this is also why like Marvel and like the whole like what they call it, where people got exhausted from comic book films? There's a word for it.
Well, I don't know the word, but I'm one of those people.
Right. But it's just like, because every movie they saw, not that it was the same thing, but it was just like steaks are bigger, you know, and like T-bone, and then, you know, filet mignon.
The steak in this one is the end of the world. Next time it's the end of the solar system, then the end of the galaxy.
And fatigue, comic book fatigue. Fatigue,
sure.
Yeah. And it's just like, and I get it and everything. It's not that these stories that came afterwards aren't good. It's just like, how much more than you brought in the multiverse, and nothing mattered. We talk about that all the time.
People die and come back routinely.
That's the thing that I can't do, because then it makes like, because they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, and there is a storyline that was in the comics and everything where they kind of swap places, where Dr. Doom and Tony Stark swap places, where Tony Stark actually is
Dr. Stark. And
no,
Tony
he's actually
Doom.
So
sorry.
No. They switched bodies. So it's actually Dr. Doom is in Tony Stark's body, and he becomes Dr. Doom. And then Victor Von Doom is actually Tony Stark, but he just starts doing like good. Like it. So that's probably what they're going to do. But either way, it's just like, you just got to move on from it. And I actually almost like some of the other like shows that they're doing on Marvel, but it's just, or on Disney, it's just too much. Like, you know, we've seen it. And
sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I just want to interject and say that at that point, I feel like it's the writers, creators, whatever, taking advantage of the suspended belief and the trust that the viewer, reader, whoever is giving to said creator, because that suspended belief is such a crucial, I think, element in speculative fiction itself.
Yeah.
And that if you don't have that, it's almost like a buy-in in a way.
It's like it's a contract you sign when you read it. It's like, okay, I'm agreeing to suspend my disbelief.
Right.
To a certain extent.
Right.
Yes.
Make the rest of it believable for me.
Right.
And like constant dopamine hits is not believable. Like,
right.
Right.
It's exhausting.
It's again, you hit it on the nose though. It's just like when you do too much of everything, when everybody's funny, when you have like it's joke every 5 seconds and everything, and then it becomes too much, and then no one's funny, you know, and it's just like, okay, we get like there's ways of doing it with like Tony Stark was always quit being snarky, but he wasn't like cracking jokes. Like Star-Lord would crack jokes, or like, but then like Thor started becoming the funny guy. And then like Doctor Strange even began to be funny, but he was more funny with just kind of like
sass.
Like, yeah, because like everybody around him was doing stupid stuff, and just like, all right, this is what
intolerable.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like if you took a symphony and took out every rest symbol.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So it's just fatigue. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need the slow parts of story to build up to the
Yes.
Like that's what suspense is, you know.
Yeah,
you take out that, like, okay, there's no suspense now. I'm just like watching. It's like watching something frenetic, you know, like when Robotech decided to be Robotech and like make these 3 shows into one thing with the dub. And one thing they said about that was really noticed about the dub version is that people are they're constantly talking. And I'm not even saying that as a bad thing, but it is noticeable. It can pull you out sometimes where it's like just constant.
Right. But that just so there's a reason too, like saving animation costs when you just have to move the mouth and everything. You don't have to worry about like, because budgets were a big thing.
Right.
Like, because even Galleon, I remember like when they first put out the TV series and the last few episodes were like a lot of stills and people just talking. And it's like they ran out of money. They had to, like, in order to finish it. And it was this weird, like psychological. It was like, I believe in myself. I'm Shinji. Yay. And it was, that was it. Like, yeah, it's kind of funny, but.
Hey, everyone. I hope you're enjoying our Bards and Balladeers podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe this video and click the notification bell down below to stay up to date with us. Our Discord link is in the description below. And now back to the show. But yeah, so then I guess getting back to the point of speculative fiction, why are we attracted to it? What do we hope to get out of it when we read it or watch it? Or what do we hope to other people get out of it when we write it? Sure. Or what do we hope to get out of it when we write it? I know for myself, I feel like I have the freedom to flex my world building muscles because like setting is, I like to play around with the setting, not just the plot or the characters.
Yeah.
I don't always want things set in the same place. If I did, more of my stories would be set in one city. But no matter what story I'm doing, even historical fiction, which is set in a place I'm very familiar with, Earth, people are traveling from place to place. Right. It's kind of fun to explore. I'm big about exploring, and what better way to explore than to like create whole new worlds to write in?
Yeah, I agree and everything. I mean, and like, in order to explore, like there's a thing that does benefit you when you get out in the world and you see things and everything. And I always get ideas when I'm just walking, like, or just doing, and I think we might have talked about this before, where it's just like, sometimes you just got to be in the world to see the world better. So you can think of even more fantastical things, I guess, and even if you've never been to another country, like the culture shock that you get from like just being in another place that you've never been and is so vastly different makes you, one, I think, respect what you have or where you've been, but also just gives you like that perspective that you will not have because if you're always in a place that is bad and grungy and everything, everybody's mean to you, as soon as you step into some place that's different and nice and everything, then all of a sudden, like you have that perspective and then you can start dreaming and imagining other things. I feel like, that's where, and that becomes almost a speculative fiction could be like, what if people were nice? Like, you know?
Yeah. Like just even travel can be, it's like a gateway drug. Like,
sure.
That's door to other perspectives. And like, that can lead you to speculative fiction, or speculative fiction can be that door. Like,
sure.
Here's a thing that I took for granted that now I'm thinking about in a new way.
Yeah.
But that can like create a momentum to think about things in all kinds of new ways that one piece of speculative fiction didn't even talk about.
Sure. Yeah.
It's true. And I actually think you mentioned exploration for yourself too. And even in our last episode of talking about world building, we talked about exploration versus escapism and how that was the first time like I had thought about that. But I do think that for me, when I go to write, because I think I only do speculative fiction at this point, that the exploration is a big part of why I do it.
Yeah.
Because not only like exploration of like these worlds that I've been imagining for however long. But it's just fun to explore different ways that we can write different characters. Because for me, character person, in different settings, like how would they respond? How do we think that they would respond? What's natural for somebody to, do in this situation? What is, even though it's natural, do they choose to do something else? Like, do they, conquer their, or do they have the willpower to do what they need to do? Or do they do what any other person would do? So I think that for me, it's almost all character exploration, but also places too. And truly, like I've tried to get out of the mindset of like, other than, the art of storytelling, that's the only way I really think about whether or not what I'm writing will matter to the reader.
Right.
I do like to have some kind of moral in my stories to a degree. But I don't really like try to control like how somebody will respond. Because one, I think that's just a losing battle.
I don't really think that much of that either.
But some people do. For some creators, it does fuel them and whatever.
I might notice, like, I don't try to think about it. I might like notice like, oh, people might really like this.
Sure.
Yeah.
People might love all my writing. I should continue.
Well, like what I was saying earlier about how it can, like a lot of plots in speculative fiction can be higher stakes. Like what you were saying about how would a character respond? They might respond a particular way in a normal set of circumstances, but with much higher stakes. Like, you know, that whole thing about do the right thing versus do the, you know, the convenient thing. Well, if there are really high stakes, that can change. You know, we all talk about like, oh, I would do this in this difficult situation. But like, okay, but my culture is always at war and we're always being conquered. And like, what actually would you do? You know?
Right.
If you have these constant influences, whether they be positive, negative, like actual threats, you know, even just biology, like, oh, we're just a bunch of little communal creatures and there's these big predators. You know?
Sure.
I think there was a culture in an episode of Star Trek Next Generation where their go-to is to always surrender.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because like they're habitually being conquered. And
Right.
It's affected how their culture is developed.
Right.
Oh.
Very passive, very just like, you know.
Yeah. And just kind of going along to get along, you know, like being basically collaborators, you know, in a sense.
Oh, sure. There's a Strange New Worlds. Actually, I enjoy this new Star Trek. It's one of the few new ones I found fun because they're trying different stuff, you know, in speculative fiction. There's even like a musical episode because they get like in like some kind of like wave hits them and then everything becomes auditory and musical, whatever. But they have this episode where they're talking to a race of people who are complete empaths, like 100%. So whatever you give to them, they will offer back. So like if you're very aggressive, they'll be very aggressive back to you. So so they had to figure a way to be compromising with them to negotiate with them with equal terms. And it was really fascinating.
It's more like mirrors than just like empaths.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what can I put into this mirror where I'll get what I want out of it?
Right,
you know?
right.
For every action, there's
equal opposite reaction.
So yeah, don't go too hard.
Yeah. But one of the things I was thinking about speculative fiction and everything, and I think why it works so well in fantasy and why maybe this is an argument against the idea that like everything is speculative fiction, is that in the real world, if you were just to create a bunch of ideas and then people will be like, that would never happen in the real world. That would not work. People will never agree to this, whatever. And it's when you start doing fantasy worlds, you can kind of bend that where it's just like, well, it could happen if this happens, or maybe these race of people are this way or that way. And I was thinking about like, as I'm journaling for, I did like a little, I don't even know what to call it. You helped me edit it. It was called Nouveau Protégé. And it's like this, telling or like a guide to life and everything.
Yeah, it's like the Tao Te Ching or something.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's a book in my Never Told series.
Book.
Yeah, thank you. And it's one of those things where like no one can say any of what I'm saying is wrong. Like you just can't. Like maybe in the scopes of the real world, sure, like you know that doesn't make sense or that wouldn't work. But in the scope of this world and how this person lived and how they're viewing this, it works perfectly, you know, because it's in another world, or at least that you can find a way to fit that into the real world, or into the world of Never Told, where like, if you don't take some kind of like reality check for, stories that you're writing, people won't believe it. I guess it's a little bit of suspended disbelief, you know? Does that make sense? Like what I'm trying to say? Like, I feel like when you can just like, try something or just do something, and even if it doesn't make sense in the real world, it'll work in speculative fiction because it's just you're exploring that kind of thought process.
Well, and you also have to make it work. Like I think you mean that too, but like where in this context of whatever setting you've created with like the world building and the magic, in the context of that, you've got to make it believable that the characters would act a different way.
Yeah.
But the speculative fiction setting allows you the scope. It allows you the opportunity to create the conditions that would make that believable.
Sure.
You create that context. If you don't, though, and you just say, well, it's a different world.
Sure. I mean, I agree.
Then it's like, okay, you built all this extra stuff just to make the same plot that would happen in this world, or like make something that can't happen in this world, but you created this other world to make it happen, and you didn't convince me that that world is different enough to make this happen or whatever.
I just think you can get away with it.
Right.
More,
The logic does have to be somewhat sound.
Yes,
Like
yes.
there's still like a foundation that needs to be had in speculative fiction and like non-speculative fiction.
I think you can bend it.
Yes.
Like more like you could do like, well, this race people, like the Klingons, for example, it's just like they're just war race. Of course, they're not going to negotiate or whatever. Even if they die, they don't care. They're Klingons, you know?
Right.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you can change and make believable just because it's your world and you can say whatever you want. No one can tell you wrong.
Yeah.
I think another good example is in Treasure Planet.
Oh,
because there are all of these different types of aliens. Treasure Planet is an animated version of Treasure Island. It's like a retelling of that story.
Yeah.
And
Disney's best film.
it truly,
Yeah.
but I digress. In there, like they establish that there are a bunch of different aliens. Like they're on, are they on Earth? I don't even know if they're on Earth. Okay.
Oh, wait. No, maybe not.
We don't know.
I haven't
but-
seen it, so I have my excuse.
Oh, well, we'll watch that next.
I won't give too many spoilers,
Yeah.
but they establish in that world that aliens are all different. Everybody's different. Like it's understood and known without needing to even like explain it. And we need that so that we can believe that Morph can do what he can do.
Sure.
And I didn't realize that literally until just now, as you guys were talking, like Morph is this little, like, kind of looks like Ditto from Pokemon. That might not help you. It's like this like alien plasma,
It's just
being
it's
that
just a
can
blob. It can just and morph into anything.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
And so later on, that becomes a major plot
Point.
hook. Like it, the way that something goes hinges on that character being able to look like anything, and transform into anything, mimic things too.
Yeah. He's the parrot, basically, of the ship crew. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so, like we were talking about, like you have to give some buy-in, or have something that raises that suspended belief to like basically meet your readers. I think, not in the middle necessarily, but give them reasons to see why the things you have in your story could make sense in this story.
Yeah, you've got to show your work, even if it's like in a whole different set of conditions. Like, if you can have different math, but you still got to show your work.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you get lucky and you get the answer anyways, but like that might just be.
Get marked points down, not for for having the wrong way of getting there.
There's no partial credit in storytelling, except there is all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I disagree.
Because sometimes you do luck out and it just works.
Yeah. Because you never know what people are going to like.
It's
you
true.
Just don't. Like
your story might have characters that like they're willing to forgive all the world building, all the plot, just because they like that character.
Yeah.
And
there's a reason though that people watch speculative fiction and they'll say, I didn't find it to be realistic. And there's always the defense of it's speculative fiction.
Yeah.
Of course it's not. But people do mean a thing when they say that.
Right.
Like, what they mean is you're not following the rules you established.
Yes.
Or you haven't established rules that are different enough from the assumed like baseline contemporary rules
to
have this be believable. Therefore it's not realistic. Kind of like want to use that to segue into like why, like, I think we've all encountered people who like only like speculative fiction or only like, contemporary realistic fiction, like real world or even historical fiction, which is not speculative fiction.
Yeah.
Like what are your experiences like dealing with that? Like, I think we all have our preferences. I usually gravitate towards speculative fiction, but not all the time.
Sure.
Obviously I write historical fiction. I don't like some of it, but
I think I'm similar to you. And I mentioned this, I think earlier in this episode that if I do like historical fiction, it has to be the right type of, did you say genre or era of history?
Era, yeah.
Because some interest me and some do not.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see, but I feel like I can watch anything that has a good story, good plot. Like we just recently watched Rental Family. Fantastic film. Like Brendan Fraser. Like, and it's about a guy who's acting like family members for whoever was going to pay him. And what he goes through is fantastic. And it's just, again, without good characters, I think nothing really works without good characters.
Or good setting or good plot.
Well,
sorry.
I don't think you like, honestly, let's say subject, like a good subject, because it could be a person as a subject or just like even documentaries are great and everything. They're a type of like, I don't want to say speculative fiction because they're not, but
May I interject quick?
Sure, yeah.
I think it comes down to it being meaningful.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Because think of like Everything Everywhere All at Once and everything. A wonderful film that mixes so many genres together.
Yeah, I still got to see it.
Yeah, there is an episode, like I always joke, like if you ever want to cry at seeing two rocks standing next to each other and there's no dialogue, there's no audible dialogue. It's one of the most powerful moments I've ever seen in film. Like it is.
I'd love to do an episode or
on just
series
that.
just on that.
Yeah,
movie.
seriously, it is such a well done movie, and it does so much so well. It's speculative fiction, but it's also a drama, but it's also just like a experiment in just visuals and everything. Like it's fantastic. And comedy, like it's like everything, really,
and
all at once.
All at once.
All at once. And to bring back that like meaningful part, because I really think like this is an epiphany for me.
Yeah.
That it has meaning mostly because a character is learning something.
It's very human, right?
Yeah. And so that's why I do agree with and kind of like how I alluded to earlier, like you can forgive almost anything in a story, but as long as like there's meaning and the characters are interesting, like you could have like a quote unquote successful story, like a clearly an accepted story, maybe I should say. I don't know.
I don't know. Like this is making me think of a Gordon Ramsay point, which is like, let your ingredients
fucking raw.
That's exactly the point. Let the quality of your ingredients speak for themselves. You need good ingredients.
Yeah.
And so, there are areas of history I like more, some I don't. There are some where you're working, like for me, like my taste, you're working against the story. Like you're working against, like if I want to enjoy a story that's set in the wrong era, I'm working against that to enjoy it. Sure. Just like if you're cooking oxtail, it better be cooked really well.
Sure, yeah.
Like get the cheapest ingredients. I know I've seen some Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, and they'll get like really good French chefs and like try to straighten them out because they're trying to do too many things.
Sure,
and it's like no, let your ingredients let the flavors come through. If it's too busy, they're not coming through. But the idea basically is like if you're setting things, like I have so many reviews on my own work that say this isn't the sort of thing I would normally read.
Sure.
And they're all like 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
Because people are like, I was working against their preferences, but I cooked it really well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what you're trying to say too. Is like you need good characters. You need them to be connected by a good plot, and you need the setting to feel rich. It doesn't even have to be your preferred setting as long as you make it appealing.
So I'm going to counter this just a little bit. And I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. I really don't. Like, it's caveats. Like you do have to get all the stuff together to make something great.
Yeah.
But for using the food analogy, watching my mother use the most simple things to make the greatest meals is fantastic. Yep. Like, and
that was the Gordon Ramsay thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, you don't always need the best of the best though.
Right.
Like, sometimes like a simple meal that it still could be flavorful will fill your soul, fill who you are, because it's what, you remember. Like I will do whatever I can to get my mother's like beans and rice, and she does it. I'll be there and do the exact same thing as she does and never will be the same. Like it will never taste the same.
She waited 5 seconds more for the roasted garlic.
Right. But like, again, like all of those things where it's just like in the right hands, anything can be great, or with simple ingredients, but in the right hands also, they can find out exactly what you need to make the best meal too. Like, Right. So I do love that analogy because I think it works very well.
Yeah. And like, some people, again, back to the people who only like speculative fiction or people who only like contemporary. It's like, I only like this kind of food. I only like that kind of whatever.
Broaden your horizons, man.
That's what I generally feel is that, if you only like one or the other, that's okay. But a lot of the time I feel like maybe there's like either you haven't experienced the right thing or you don't have the imagination necessarily. I'm not saying that's if you only like contemporary fiction, you don't have the imagination. I find it to be true of people who only like speculative fiction where they just can't imagine anything about the real world that would be appealing. Sure. I see that much more with the escapism approach.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm like, I feel like either you're afraid of something or you haven't delved deeply enough into what this is, whichever direction that goes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys have encountered with that, or like, we don't have to dwell on it too much, but
no, I mean,
I think we could legitimately do an episode on escapism versus exploration. Because I'm still just fascinated on that difference. And like, you can have different levels at different, points in your life too. And just defining for other readers and viewers or listeners.
Or using those escapism and exploration for two very different things, like of what you're trying to either do for yourself. Because I think, and I don't want to get too like philosophical about this, but I think all of this is just a need to fill something inside us, and like how we are trying to either improve ourselves or trying to, because as writers, we write to improve ourselves. I feel like that. You can tell me if you think differently, but it's just like, and readers sometimes are looking for something to better themselves through other people's stuff. Because what they say, those who can't do teach kind of thing. I feel like it's kind of like that too, where like, if you can't write, everybody can write. I do believe that. But you had to find out what you like, or you got to find out those things before you can come to do your own internal journey or try to express throughout. So it's like, you fill a cup, that cup will fill something else, or that cup will, fill other people, I guess. Yeah.
I feel like the root word of speculative fiction, it's like a Latin
lactate.
Spec.
Oh,
as in look, as in view, as in different perspective.
Sure.
Will bring added depth, like just like, 3-dimensional versus 2-dimensional.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are certain things that people encounter over and over and over again. They're like, yeah, I know, like concepts, like it's good to do the right thing, whatever. but then they see it from a completely different perspective, the same principle from a different perspective, and it unlocks something.
Sure. Yeah.
And it really gets inside whatever those defenses are and lands.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's part of the point of speculative fiction.
Sure.
It's the multiple camera angles,
Yeah.
You get a certain thing out of it from one camera angle. We only have one camera angle, by the way.
Yeah.
But
maybe in the future we'll change that.
Yeah. But when you add different angles, like I completely see this differently now. It enriches your view.
Yeah.
And sometimes that little bit of extra enrichment, that little bit of shift of focus is what unlocks your awareness in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like that's why people do speculative fiction.
No, I completely agree. And I do think we were kind of talking behind the scenes a little bit earlier that like that might be why stories should be sort of retold again and again in different ways.
Yeah. New adaptations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think did you guys do a panel on adaptations? No, maybe we did an episode.
I don't recall.
I don't think so.
Essentially fan fiction. Not to boil it down too much or belittle it down too much. But I do think that this has been, I like this topic too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, one of the things I think that was important about speculative fiction is I feel like those plots tend to focus on allowing one person or one character or a small group of characters have more of an impact on changing the world.
Sure.
Than we experience in real life a lot of the time. And I think that's part of what's appealing to people about that.
Back to the hero's journey, right? A little bit.
The hero's journey, but also just, sometimes it's a group of people. We've even talked about the political plots. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it is kind of like hero's journey, but like, I think that's part of the escapism too. People feel like they don't make a difference in their lives or in the world. And they're like, well, okay, I want to read something that gives me a little bit of hope. Like it's kind of like hope porn,
No, I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, competence porn, hope porn, like
what do
this is hope punk.
Hope punk, yeah.
I think I remember what you're talking about now. That like speculative fiction really does, despite the big grand, world, depending on like supernatural, paranormal, like that one person can genuinely make a difference, or a small group of people.
Right. You see it with
catalyst.
Like think of any like epic tale, like, Lord of the Rings, obviously one person or a group of people.
Yeah.
Lodos War, a standard campaign style, kind of thing. I mean, any Miyazaki film, really.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a small little things that really will save the world.
But
Right.
sorry, I was gonna say, I think though why you do is because you can't care about the whole world. You got to focus down on just the one thing, because like if you have too many characters, one, it gets too like muddied or whatever. Like you want to have that main character because it's I don't want to say easier for people, but like you want to just focus on that and follow them. Like if they're an interesting enough character, you'll follow them to the ends of the earth,
It's
right?
also easier for the writer.
But a
too.
lot of the epic plots are about saving the world.
Sure.
My brother had a friend who like he always read only science fiction fantasy.
Yeah.
And whenever someone would ask him, what's that book about? He'd say it's about saving the world.
Sure. Or the universe or the galaxy.
Galaxy. Yeah. And I think it's even when it is like one main character or a small group of characters, a lot of the time we talked about how it has those high stakes plots.
Yeah.
Speculative fiction tends to have high stakes plots. I think that's part of why is like, we want to be able to affect more than we're used to in this world, because in this world, it's like the villains have already won, almost like they control the levers of power. So you have to go through all the levers of power to affect things, hence those political plots. You know? And so like, I feel like that's a big part of speculative fiction and why people go with it.
And also that the stakes wouldn't be so high if we didn't see what mattered so much, like what those stakes like is based on.
Right. And that that shifting perspective can help show you the real stakes.
Yeah.
Whereas in this world, things really do get pretty muddied.
Yeah. Easily, because there's too many of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's too much really going on, which is not curated by some author.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's everything, everywhere, all at once.
Everyone's stories are trying to be the head of everything, and that's, So on that,
It's true. The villain doesn't always know that they're the bad guy.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
Why are you pointing at him when you said that?
He's the one that taught me that.
I think it's because I'm the villain.
yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, geez, okay. And that's the last part of being Bards and Balladeers ever.
Creative differences.
Yeah.
But thank you everybody for joining us. We are Bards and Balladeers. I'm Kate.
I'm Rio.
I'm Usger.
We'll check you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.